unmute anything. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 252, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. That man down there, trying to get my angles all right. This guy down there is Bill. Bill from Prolific Games. He's back. I could go through the whole long spiel that I wrote before, but you all know who he is. He's the guy. He's one half of the brain that runs Prolific Games, brings us great games like Flapjacks and Sasquatch's Tricked Out Hero Pack Wars, among others. And he's also here to talk about his new Kickstarter, the expansion for Flapjacks and Sasquatches called Company Store, which is really awesome because it is already so close. I'm refreshing right now so I get the most up to date. We are over $9,200 pledged of the 12,000 goal, 168 backers, and you've only been going for 22, or you've got 22 days left. So
yeah,
you've only been going for 8 days.
A week.
That is awesome.
This feels like one of your faster ones.
It has been crazy fast. I was hoping, like I said out a couple tweets going like, hey, let's kill it this weekend, and I wanted to be able to say we funded in the first week. Obviously we didn't quite get there, but I mean, we're under a third left. So, that's pretty good. We're pretty happy, but, as John would have told you if he was on here, like now we just wait. Now it's like you sit there and like you get 1 today, 3 tomorrow, 3 the next day. And you're like, and then that last week comes and you go over like, well, at least for us, I mean, there are obviously some Kickstarters that go to like $1 million right away. Sure. But ours play out like, and actually we got here faster than we ever usually do. We usually get about halfway and then we kind of trickle in. And then like the last week we like get about 1,000 or 2,000 over what we need. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it's crazy that we got here this fast, and we'd like to get over before the last week, just so like the last week people are like, yeah, let's jump on board and we can get up there. But we're happy with where it's going. So.
Yeah, it was cool to see it. I mean, I remember the first time I backed you guys on the very first Flapjacks. It's like, I don't think these guys are going to make it. This is crazy. And then the last week is like, boom. It's like, okay, I guess I was worried for nothing.
Yeah, that last week is like I said, John and I will sit here and like he has his he's a stay-at-home dad, right? And so he has his like notifications for Kickstarter on. And so like the first day he's like, it's like just this joy of just like ding, 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 ding. And then like you get into it and every once in a while you get a ding here and there. And the downside is occasionally you get someone that'll be like, they backed, and then they'll be like, I'm going to back out. And then I'm going to come back. And then I'm going to lower it. And then I'm going to raise it. And then I'm going to lower it again.
Oh, really?
So you get like these dings and you're like, what? We went down $20. What the hell? and then you get a ding and the same person. Now you're up like 40 more and you're like, what are you doing? Like, what?
Why are you doing this to me?
Right. So
maybe they know they're torturing John.
I think I probably have friends that probably do it on purpose. Like, and I put it on and I remove it, and I put it on and I remove it. So now you guys know if you want to screw with John, that's the way to do it, because he'll just I
kind of feel like I should do that right now.
Oh, you'll kill him.
Like, my fear is I'll get busy and I'll forget to go back. So I'm just going to leave it.
Right.
So, this thing looks like so much fun. And can we talk about your super secret thing that you told John he can't look at?
Oh yeah. Are you talking about the Twitter thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put that out there. So the funny part was, like, when we first designed this expansion, I was like, we go through cards, right? So I come up with a list, and we kind of play test some of the stuff. And I designed this card, and I had it in the play test thing, and we're play testing it, and it came out, and he was like, "That's brutal. You can't put that in there." And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, this game is brutal. Like we kiddingly say we bring your family together just to rip them apart, right? And so I was like, what do you mean we can't put this in? He's like, are you serious? Like, you know what's going to happen. Someone's just going to get rid of their blisters with gloves. The next person's going to play this and put it back on them, and they've had blisters the entire game. And I said, yeah, and?
But there's more glove cards in there. You can get them again.
And as the I'm just the designer. He's the developer. He goes through all the stuff and like, hey, this should work, this shouldn't. So I kind of conceded, and then I told Jody, you should draw it anyway. And then I thought I'd see if I could get enough tweets to back me up on getting it back in there. Now, I asked for 50, but I may drop that at some point here so that we can get it in anyway.
How many do you have?
Play with it? Don't play with it.
How many do you have it pulled up there? Do you know how many retweets you have?
That's what I was about to look at. It's 23 retweets and 26 likes.
That is impressive. I
almost went for 25 and 25 when I originally put it up, which is why I'm like, well, maybe I'll be like, you know what, close enough, halfway there, I'll take it, just because I want it in.
Well, and especially the likes part, because you can only like it once. It's not like that's impressive right there in and of itself. I don't know if retweets work the same. Like, I don't know if you can retweet it multiple times.
Well, I'm going to retweet it right now with a comment that says, come on, guys. Let's give old man Harris a heart attack.
I love it.
There you go. Tweet.
Right here, live on the show.
There you go. Tweet that out there just to get it going again. Yeah. Like I said, there are a few cards that he was like, I don't know about that one. That's kind of brutal. And I snuck some of them through. I got some of them in there, where he thought that could be a little tough, but then I put enough other ones in there too. I think to make it good. Now, I know someone had mentioned in one of our comments, they said, hey, are you redoing the Jack deck to balance out the number of axes and stuff? We really haven't put any cards in the Jack deck, really. Like the second expansion has none, right? It just has trees and universal cards. And then this one has some that go in, but the company store actually has axes and stuff in it too. And so there's more ways to get axes. Like I don't think it's actually unbalanced anything. So I don't know. I know that was someone's concern. Let's see.
Well, there's games where you could go for a while without any axes. So I can understand their concern there, but I don't think that's going to make it any worse or better.
I understand that. Like so probability wise, in the original game, it's a good amount, right? I could put out of, let's say, 150 cards, I could put 100 axes in there, and it's still possible that you don't draw one. It's not probable, but it's still possible.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when we play, I find that the person that doesn't get an axe is the one that eventually wins because everyone else hoses everyone, and that person just all of a sudden starts silently like chopping down trees and doing stuff. And then all of a sudden you're like, or someone's like, well, I'll roll the chainsaw against him because he hasn't had anything the whole game. He's so far behind.
Yeah.
And then that guy chainsaw and like cuts everything down, and you're like, there it is.
Well,
I've actually won the game where all I had was the dull axe all game, but I was the one guy nobody's picking on because they thought it was funny I had the dull axe.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was the only one getting chops. So there you go.
It's also like you're the only one with the tree, and the guy with Paul Bunyan goes, well, it's just him getting the tree. No one else got one. Like, well, thank you. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how the game like really balances itself out, right?
Yeah.
Now, if someone's spiteful and they just want to get you, can it be a long game for you?
Oh yeah.
that in my opinion, that then you're supposed to be playing the people a little bit better, You're not just supposed to try to piss people off.
Yeah.
to no avail, you know.
Well, without your fancy new card, I have spent an entire game with blisters.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
I was trying to find one of the other cards that John was like, I don't know about that one. I was just kind of cycling through some of these. Where is it?
Well, while you're looking for those, you'll be happy to know that my family played a round of flapjacks and Sasquatches over this last weekend. We went to our favorite local brewery that just opened back up
Nice.
and sat down and played some flapjacks and Sasquatches, and I won
Nice.
with only 3 trees. I didn't. I only half chopped down one of the 12 pointers, and because my wife had chopped it halfway down, and then I just happened to have one of I can't remember which card it was, but it's the card where you can discard your tree and swap trees with somebody else.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
so I switched with her
That's
after she had
crazy.
6 chops on it, and I was able to chop it the rest of the way down and stole some. Like, I won so quickly in that game that Reese, my oldest one, was just like, I don't want to reshuffle. I just want to keep playing. Can we just keep playing? Sure, why not? I'll just keep winning.
Nice.
It's fine.
He also thought subcontract was a little brutal. So subcontract is out of the new deck, right? If it's face down and you pay 2 and you just get it, it costs 2, right? If it's face up, it costs 4. And what subcontract does is you can give a player 1 nickel and they have to roll half their dice on your tree, rounded down. So if you get like doing all the like they got a babe out, they got a chainsaw out, you know, you're like, okay, I'm gonna play this, and of your 8 dice, 4 of them go to me. So I think it's great, but
yeah, I think that one's awesome. I want to use that one.
And you have to buy it first, right? So you're paying to get it, and then you're giving them one to help you out.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm excited for some of these. Like I like the added equipment of just eye protection. I really like the one that you show on the Kickstarter page, the Sasquatch games.
Yeah, where they're throwing the lumberjacks.
Yeah.
And so the Sasquatch cards in the company store deck, like if you decide to go to the company store, right, you flip over one of the cards that are face down, right, as just hey, let's see what they have for sale type thing. Mm-hmm. Certain cards, when you flip them over, can give you something, give you victory points. They can make everyone roll for something. The Sasquatch cards, when you flip them, affect you, right? So if you get unlucky and flip one, like that one makes you lose your turn. But once you flip, you can either buy the card in front of you, right? So if it has a cost and you're like, man, I don't want to spend 4 for that, or I don't want to have 4, right? Because you have to have at least 2 wooden nickels when you go to the store. But if something costs 4 and you only have 2, obviously you can't buy it. You can buy one of the face down cards for 2, right? So then I just pay my 2 nickels and I grab this face down. And if it happens to be Sasquatch games, so like I said, when it's flipped, you lose a turn. But when you buy it, you can play it and all other players roll a die, and the player with the highest roll doesn't lose their turn. So you can make everyone lose their turn for that one card if you get lucky. And that's kind of the thing, right? It's like you're hoping to find that card face down and get it in your hand, not flip it over and hose yourself. And so there's some big risk, big reward, right? I mean, you can just stay in the Jack deck all day if you want. You don't ever have to go to the company store. But I feel like there are benefits. Like if you flip over one of the axes, it just gives you a victory point, right? But if you flip it over and you're like, man, I already got an axe, I'm going to buy this other face down card. Now someone maybe who was sitting without an axe the whole time goes, oh, I'll just buy the axe. Now I have an axe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to add a lot to it. I like the idea of it, and I like the I don't know, just another way to screw people over too, because that's the part of this game that's so enjoyable is just, going, hey, I'm gonna make your life hell. How about that?
Right. We also have a bunch of new lumberjacks that I think are pretty cool. And so the lumberjacks, you deal out like before the game, and that's kind of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can feel it when you want to use it. But they also now when you play them, you can use their ability and you can gain 2 wooden nickels, right? Or if you're like, man, I don't think I'm gonna use that ability. I just want the 2 nickels. You can just flip it over and take the 2 nickels.
Right.
Which is just another way to like give you something you can do that might affect the game and give you another chance at wooden nickels. So I think they're pretty good. So we have one of the lumberjacks. We got Breathless Bree, right? Or Bria. She cancels winded, right? Because there's nothing that cancels winded except her. So that one's cool. We have the not really Driss Duerden lumberjack, right? Has no significance towards that at all. No representation of that.
No,
Just
not at
happens
all.
to be an elfy looking dark person.
It's just a coincidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a coincidence.
I mean, come on, this guy's carrying 2 axes. I mean, we all know that that's not what he did.
Right. He had swords, so not similar at all. And so we did that one because like when we'll play when we're playing in like conventions and stuff when we're demoing, one of the things that always comes up is people will be like, they'll have an axe out, and on the next one they'll try to put another one down. And we're like, whoa, wait. You're not a ranger. You can't dual wield. Right? That's not allowed. 1 axe per person. So we thought we'd put him in so he could be like, I am a ranger. Ha 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 for 1 turn. Right?
Yeah.
So
I do like that. I think it's fun. We don't play with the lumberjacks nearly as much as I want to. Mainly just because it's another deck of cards that I got to keep track of, and
right.
we don't. The funny thing is, we don't play flapjacks and Sasquatches at our house. We always
really?
play it somewhere else. It's always one of our traveling things that we take with us, like going over to a friend's house. We take flapjacks and Sasquatches. Go to a brewery. We take flapjacks and Sasquatches. Go on vacation. We take flapjacks and Sasquatches. It travels with us almost everywhere we go. We never play it at the house, and so the fewer decks that I got to keep track of. Which is part of the reason why I really wanted to go with the top Kickstarter backer on here and get the fancy collector's box, but that got vetoed by my wife. So
damn it.
Sorry.
But if you end up with extra of those at the end, you'd be like, just send one this way. We'll be like your special promoters.
There you go. We'll see if we can find one off the truck or something.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's got.
So else like, there's some new trees that I like a lot too. Just to kind of throw those out. One of my favorites, which John, I don't know. Again, he kind of looked at it and was like, you understand this, right? And I said, yep, I do. So there's a bonsai tree, right?
Yeah.
And when you chop it down, you can give it to someone else and they have to give you a wooden nickel. And it's only 1 chop and 1 point, right? And so you can get a wooden nickel from someone. The downside of it is you could switch tag that 1/1 to someone. So if you give it to someone else and they get switch tag, they could give you a 1-point tree for a better tree.
Right.
Or you can just be like, I don't want the wooden nickel, and switch tag it yourself and switch a 1-point tree for like a 7-point tree. So
yeah, I'm already planning in my head how I'm gonna use that one to screw somebody over in multiple ways.
Right.
Yeah. Especially with the big maple tree that's in there. That's the 12-pointer. It's like, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm waiting for that setup to happen already. I'm like, yep, I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Right. So, yeah, we're just happy. And then there's more universal cards, which we really like. I don't know. Some people like our Cup of Joe's been out of print. So some people have never played with the universal cards. And for us, I think it adds to the game. I think it adds a lot of fun because you now have different rules that kind of affect how you're playing.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of just the standard, this is what happens, this is what happens. I think it's pretty good. My favorite is the overtime. And it's on the Kickstarter. It's a guy that's like punching out at a punch clock on a tree.
Yeah.
And it's all players have to roll one of their chopping dice on whoever has the lowest number of points, right? If you chop down their tree, you actually get a nickel for it, but otherwise you're just kind of giving it to that guy over and over again as you go around the table. And the funny part for me is on the tree we put, did you help Craig today? Like, Craig is our friend so only person I've ever known of, played an entire game, didn't get one chop, didn't get one tree, didn't get anything. Like literally every time he got an axe, he'd have so many negatives on him because people were just like, I don't know. He smarted off at the beginning of how good he was or something, and they all started just like negatives. So he'd put an axe out, but he wouldn't be able to roll because he'd have so many negatives.
Oh, wow.
And then someone would break it or steal it or something before I got back around to him. So, like, I think he actually got to roll once and rolled like all misses.
Oh,
and
man.
So,
oh, geez.
Like, only person I've ever heard of that didn't get any chops even. So. Whereas on the other side, I've had people that didn't have an axe the entire game and ended up winning the game because just apprentices or babe and
right,
switching takes for bigger things, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of the no fear card, mainly just because I like the look of the card. Like I love that picture of the apprentice, the long saw, and babe like chasing Sasquatch. Like I just think that. I like that one.
Pretty good. What's the other one I like? I do like all play and no work. I don't know if that's on the site or not.
No, it's not.
So what it is, it's a guy looking at a bulletin board and it says like Lumberjack games today. You choose 2 players. Anytime you play a Lumberjack card, those players compete and then lose their next turn. So like I'd play like chainsaw between the 2 of you. And you guys get to roll for the chainsaw. I don't get to roll, but you're also both losing your turn. So
I like it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you guys are off playing again. Well, I'm just gonna keep working on my tree. Better. And John pointed this. This is another one that John was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I think so. I think it's the heart of the game." If I log roll between 2 of you, someone's gonna lose their turn for log roll, and then lose their turn for all play and no work.
Right.
Back.
Oh, I like that.
This game does get mean.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So
if you're playing with friends, you won't be after you're done. That's
and the thing about it is like, so if you were playing that type of stuff in a game that takes 2 hours and everyone's doing some huge strategy, you'd be mad at each other. With this game, I mean, it plays in 25-30 minutes, maybe a little longer if people are really slowing someone down, but it's just about the fun, and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, unless you have someone that's super sensitive, like someone plays that all work no play, or the universal card came out, and someone else plays log roll, those people, at least in my friends and the people I play with at cons and stuff who are really into the game, will be like, oh dang, that was nice. That was that. I'm gonna lose 2 turns, but that was good.
Well played. Well played.
I mean, I go to conventions, and John's favorite thing to do as I'm demoing this is, oh, guys, look, if you make him lose his first turn, you'll have luck the rest of the convention. If you make him lose the second turn, you get it for half the convention. Third, you only get it for a fourth of the convention. After that, well, I can't give you any. And so, I kid you not, on the first turn, I'll have 3 paperwork played on me. Set my cards down and stand there and wait.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That is great.
And I mean, like, again, it's all in fun. Like, no one's going to win in 3 turns. I'm going to keep playing. I still win a lot. So, you know, because it's amazing. Like he'll say that, and they'll all do it, but then they're playing with their friends and me, right? And so after those, you know, like as I'm standing there losing my turns, I'll be like, "Dang, he played a negative on you? That's not nice." And so then friends just start going after each other, and eventually I win because they're all like trying to hose each other, and
Yeah, because you can't let your friends win.
exactly.
I don't even know this guy's standing here playing with us. Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. I gotta say I'm really liking the add-ons that you have on here too.
Yeah.
I have already gone in for the wooden nickels and the wooden chop tokens, especially
Nice.
after this last weekend playing with the little cardboard ones. They've been played with so much that they are starting to they're starting not necessarily fall apart, but they got the little nicks and chips, and they're really hard to pick up off of off the table now. They just kind of get sucked right in, and these wooden chop tokens are going to be perfect.
And the wooden nickels are actually Jody found some that are like usually when you get them they're like that light kind of, I don't want to say balsa wood, but they're not hardwood.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You found some that are like seriously sturdy wood. So
nice.
They should be pretty good. And we're pretty happy with the metal dice. Like we had some metal dice for our Cthulhu game when we did it. And the same guy's doing these. They're anodized aluminum.
Oh, nice.
I know we had a couple of people like, man, $35, but they're metal dice. Like $35 for 8 metal dice is actually cheap.
Yeah. Go on Amazon and go buy metal dice.
Yeah, metal dice are not cheap. And those are like I still use my Cthulhu ones, no problems, no damage, no nothing. I love them.
Out of the Cup of Joe expansion, that is the one thing that it got quickly pulled out of that box and put into the main box is the custom dice, because that just makes life so much easier. Although I have the regular dice in there just for those things where you gotta roll like numbers, but like otherwise it's just and I love the fact that they're different colors, and so it makes it just so much easier of like, oh well, you played Babe, oh well, you get these 2 dice, these sit in front of you, now you have to roll those dice. So
my 6-year-old's been super into, like, he played it like once or twice maybe when he was like younger, where someone actually had to help him. I don't think he really got that it was my game, and he didn't really get that it was like what was going on. We've played every night this week because he wants to play every night.
That's awesome.
And his favorite thing is to get the apprentice die and roll it, because it's this little dude just smiling up at you when you get the chop. He's like, look, Dad, he's smiling at me. I got one.
I got another one, Dad. That's awesome.
The axes are cool too. I mean, he likes when he gets chops, but that smiling face is like his favorite.
Right.
So
that's awesome. So quick question that I think that we got into a discussion over this. I think one of the times where we had a huge group playing. The apprentice, you can roll even without an axe, your apprentice can still work on your tree, and the same with Babe, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's the way
has his own little hatchet.
Yeah.
And Babe, I mean, is a giant bull.
Right.
I mean, it's an ox. It's not really a bull, but I mean, it's got giant. It's bigger than the trees. It can just push them over.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of what I went with too. And then somebody was like, "Well, no, you don't have an axe. You can't use this." I'm like, those are separate things. Like, they work all on their own. Yeah. I did have to get after. I got after Reese though this weekend because he had the, what was it? It's the long saw that you can still have an axe, and the long saw like replaces that axe.
Yeah, it just sets it aside. Yep.
Yeah. And he had the long saw, but he's like, oh, but I don't want to use the long saw right now because I don't want to maybe lose it. So I want to use my axe that I have, because he had a titanium axe. I'm like, what did you 5 dice compared to 4 dice? I understand it's only 1 dice, but you can't, like, your odds are better. Like, just stop. You're hurting my statistical brain. Stop. Like, oh. I'm like, I'd already won, so I just let him do whatever he wanted. I'm like, fine. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm drinking beer, and I already won. I like to point that out to him. Reese, I already won. It's over.
Nice. Just mean.
I don't win very often, especially with my kids. They kick the crap out of me all the time.
As I say, with that whole con with friends going after each other, there's like a hierarchy of cruelty. And it's like when we get people coming to demo it and stuff, like little kids, like brothers and sisters might go for each other, but they really like to go for dad.
Yeah.
Like dad.
Yeah.
Mom or significant other of the person, like the female significant other will go after the male significant other. Yeah. And then the male significant other looks at me like, I got to play it on you because I got to go home with these guys.
Right.
And so I go, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
The best I ever saw is a dad, and he's playing with his 3 kids, right? Mom went off somewhere, and we're playing, and he gets a card, and he's like, and it was a tree hugger, right? And he's like, and he looks at his one daughter, he's like, well, you're kind of winning, so here you go. And she goes, I knew you liked them better, and puts her hand on his. He's like, and she goes, I'm just kidding. I was like, but she played it off. Like, he was like, oh my God. Like,
that was it.
Like, is this like seriously going to get dramatic? Like, what are we,
it's getting real in here.
Right.
That's
but then
awesome.
She was like instantly like, oh no, I'm just kidding. That's fine.
Oh, that is great.
Oh, that's God.
Yeah. And you as the guy at the booth going, uh-oh, is this going to be like family drama right now? Like, is this really?
I don't need a girl crying at my booth how the game was horrible. Like,
yeah, all the people walking by and all you have is this little girl, like, hands on her face. I knew you hated me, dude.
That's when you say she just came from the Fantasy Flight booth. It's okay.
There you go. No, I mean, it all worked out. They love the game. They got it. That was hilarious. She said some other stuff too. She was funny.
That's awesome. Funny kid. That is great.
The other thing about the add-ons is we have all our other games.
I was gonna mention that because for those of you out there that don't have these other games, $20 a piece that's a deal, man.
Right, especially Tricked Out Hero. That's like a $50 game.
Yeah.
So
my box is upstairs, but yeah, that's a
solid. It's kind of run its course. We've had, we printed 1,500 originally, and we don't have a ton left, right? Like we're down to double digits, I think.
Oh wow.
And so we thought, having like 60, 70 of these in a warehouse, charging us a pallet fee every month.
Right.
Whereas if we can get them out of there and people want to play it and enjoy it, to me, again, it's my best design game. I love that game. And like I said, we had 1,500. We're down to, not many left. And so getting them out there to people who want them for $20, that's a steal. So even Witch Slap, I mean, that's $5 lower than it normally is, and that's 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 our newest game, and it's probably our second most popular.
Oh, that's awesome. So I love Witch Slapped, and we play that one a bunch too. That's one that all 4 of us enjoy playing, and we've introduced that to a few of our non-gaming friends. Both and that's the one thing that I gotta throw out there. Like your games are perfect for the casual fan as well as the people that are, more hardcore board gamers, or just gamers in general. Because I've taken flapjacks and Sasquatches, I've taken Witch Slapped, and I've thrown them on a table with a bunch of people that are like, what? We're gonna play what? And then we start playing it, and they're like, okay, I need to have this game. So much so that we bought Flapjacks and Sasquatches for my wife bought it for one of her coworkers as a Christmas gift. It was like, they loved it so much playing it with us. She's like, well, here you go. And
that's awesome.
And I'm pretty sure they have gone in on they're one of the backers on this thing. And
awesome.
trying to get trying to make sure that they are getting the Cup of Joe expansion too, because you got to have all of them if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, we always tell people when we're at conventions and stuff that this is like the game that hardcore gamers will play and like they'll be like, oh, it's a filler game, but it's great when I'm not playing with my friends that I'm playing, gizmos with or,
Right.
or whatever. But I can also take it to Thanksgiving because Aunt Judy knows what a lumberjack is.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have to try to explain what an orc and what steampunk is, and I can just be like, okay, so you're a lumberjack. There's a Sasquatch, and they can go, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Right.
You're a lumberjack trying to cut down trees. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
And it's got enough great humor in there. People think it's hilarious. Yeah, we like it. I mean, we've sold over of the original Flapjacks. I think we're at like 7,000 some now. Sold.
That's awesome.
Wow, nice.
For a small company like us, that's really good, and that says something. And I think we're still at like a 6 point something on Board Game Geek. With just so you know, 6 point something maybe doesn't sound the greatest, but on Board Game Geek for a game like this, that's really good. I think we're higher than Munchkin for rating. We were. I don't know. We might have flip-flopped. We're like right there. And then on Amazon, I think, man, we're almost 5 stars by everyone that gets it. We have like 50 ratings back there, and almost everyone's like, "Hey, we love it." So it's got good reviews. People seem to like it, and like I said, hardcore gamers will play it and not be like, "Oh, I don't want to play another game of whatever." But you can play it with your family, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is a really good gateway game to get them into other games too."
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I know there's been a bunch of times on my game night where, we've got a whole stack of games. I was like, well, let's start with Flapjacks and Sasquatches, and then we never play any other game. We'll play that thing for like 3 or 4 hours solid.
Because someone's bitter.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Someone loses and they're like, let's go again.
Yeah.
Just one more time.
Now.
I'm going to get you next time.
Yep, we've had that. We've had that for sure. For me, like when my wife and I have people over and play games and stuff, so when we're playing hardcore strategy games, or more, I shouldn't say hardcore because none of her friends are really hardcore, but like, even like Settlers or something like that, where there's some strategy and stuff, I'll win throughout the night. Like, even though I'll be like, hey, you can ask me for help. I'll tell you exactly like the best move for you, even if it hurts me. Like, people would be like, well, I didn't want to ask you. I didn't think you'd tell me like the truth. Like, no, I'm telling you, like, I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if I win or lose. I really don't. Right. And so we'll help them. Well, then we'll get to Flapjacks. And because I've won everything all night, I just get slaughtered. They just play it just to destroy me. Because they can all just be like, who should I play this on? Oh, gee, I wonder. Yeah, lose another turn. Okay, I get it. So, like, when I win Flapjacks in those situations, I feel like it's the best win of the night for me.
Right.
Like, oh, I beat you guys in Carcassonne. That's not that big a deal, but I won Flapjacks against all you people trying to murder me. I feel good about myself.
I only had half the number of turns that you did, and I still won. Suck on that.
And I had blisters, and I had
yeah.
So
I was gonna say, if to get back to this worn out card that we were trying to get people on Twitter to go tweet and for John to say that card is overpowered, but yet blisters can sit there and sit there and sit there and sit there, and I never get. Everybody else has gloves. I don't have any gloves, but I got blisters. And man, I'm pretty sure. Kip, was it with you guys that we allowed the whole, like, you could have 2 blisters?
Yeah, you could have one on each hand.
One on each hand. Oh man. Yeah. That's just not cool. I
John thinks that card is overpowered. He should play with us because the way we house rule some stuff, it's brutal.
I bet. So I view it like this: not that someone's gonna have blisters the whole time, then get gloves, then someone's gonna play that. I view it as I know you guys have played enough that you've had it where like all these people have blisters, and so then you look at the other person that doesn't, go, well, I got to play this on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they all have blisters. for me, that's I guess I'll discard blisters. When everyone goes, well, why didn't you play it on him? Oh, I guess I forgot. And then next turn play worn out just to give it to one of those people with gloves.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
If you see me discard blisters, just assume that someone's getting it next turn.
Yeah, I've already got the worn out card. I'm just waiting here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so what's gonna be the play? Because now the question's gonna come up. What if nobody has discarded blisters when you play the worn out card?
It just gets rid of the gloves then.
Just gets rid of the gloves.
Yep.
I didn't know if it was going to be one of those we're going to get to flip through the deck and find the blisters. Like, here, now you're really good at... I mean, that's... Yeah.
No, it's just the gloves come back. So, or the gloves go away. So, you can still then play, all the axe slips on them and stuff. So,
right. Yeah.
It's another way to get rid of gloves, really.
Which is extremely important because there's, like, you have to be able to, if you're gonna screw with people, you've got to get rid of their stuff that they have. And
for sure,
I think my least favorite card of all of them is the Sasquatch that, what is it? Sasquatch Rampage? No, I don't know. It's the what? The one that gets rid of all the equipment that everybody has, and I'm like, but I don't want to get rid of my equipment. I just want to get rid of their equipment. Like,
yeah, but sometimes. That's my favorite, like, when I'm sitting there with no axe and I draw that, I just go, oh, thank God. If I don't get anything nice, neither do you people.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I've been in those shoes lots. Oh, that's great. Well,
now, on a different note, you've been playing Gizmos.
Yes.
Still, you love it, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep, that was a game.
He's raving about it, yeah.
Yeah, that's a game that went with us to Red Crow to the brewery this last weekend and got broken out. So yeah,
I wish I had designed that game. It's so good.
Oh, it is so much fun, and when things go like, it's the perfect kind of game for the way my brain works. I love this. I don't know if I'd call it like almost that, not Rube Goldberg, but it's kind of like a Rube, it's like it's this, then this, then this, then this, then this. I love watching that cascading effect to it. And my favorite part is when you're playing, and whether it's me or whether it's somebody else that I'm playing with, and they get that one thing, they're like, oh, this is exactly what I need, and they go do that one thing that just causes everything to, like, hey, I get to do this card and this card and this card and this gizmo and this gizmo and this gizmo and this gizmo, and it's like all their gizmos that they've played get used, and it's like, hey, you did it exactly right, you finally got it. That to me is like the pinnacle. So
my favorite is when I have like a power ring full of marbles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I buy one of the level 3 ones that are like 7.
Yeah.
And I get rid of 7 marbles, and then because I bought that, I trigger enough that I'm full in that ring again.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap, that was amazing. I'm about to win.
I'm like, I can do this every time.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's great, and it's and it's fun watching. For me, it's also fun watching my kids start to realize, because we've played it so many times now that they've tried different strategies, and trying to figure out like what they should be building. And at one point they were building, like, they would build a few level 1s and then a few level 2s, and they're just trying to get to the level 3s, and they didn't have the right stuff in place, but they quit going after the other ones that they could and tried to save up marbles, and it just ended up causing them to go down. And then when we get done with the game, we're like, okay, well, what happened? Like, we start going back and analyzing how everybody played. It was like, well, did you notice that Mom sat here and she built like 16 level 1s, and the rest of us are trying to get the level 2s, and she was like, she caused the end game. And she won, because even with all level 1s, because the rest of us only had like 5 or 6 gizmos, and it's like.
Well, I think it's important to get like the different, like, I've seen people just like, oh, I'm gonna get all these pick things. So if I pick this, then I get
Yeah.
the random one. And it's like, but they don't have any building stuff, or they don't have any converters, or
Yep.
I mean, I think it's really key to like kind of get a little bit of everything. So like when you do one thing, then you know, like I filed this, so then I get this, and then I get this, and then I do this, and then
yeah, and that's that is
key.
definitely the trick, is being able to balance between all the different things that you do, and then on top of that, still being able to have enough, like, taking your time to actually make you upgrade things, because if you don't upgrade your how much you can hold in your ring or how much you can archive. I think there was one turn where Reese had a whole bunch of stuff that he could do when he archived something, when he filed a gizmo, but he could only hold one gizmo in his file, and so it was like, well, now you have to build that one, and he's like, because he didn't get the upgrades in there, and so it ended up slowing him down. It was like, yeah,
yeah, I've seen. I had one friend try to block another friend. They bought like this big gizmo, but they only had one slot, and they couldn't. Like it took them, I don't know how many turns to get it built.
Yeah,
I was like, you just lost, man, because you spent 3 turns trying to build this thing.
Yep.
So, and you couldn't file anything else to trigger these things. So,
yeah, it's interesting. I need to get it to the table with Kip over there, because I think Kip's engineering mind would really enjoy it too.
Probably.
Yeah, I like a good engine builder. I've been playing a lot of Space Base.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little bit of an engine builder as well.
Yep. That's cool. So now, not that I should be steering the conversation. Did anyone see Captain Marvel?
Oh, yeah. Some loser didn't, though. I wonder who that would be.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. But I know. It was one I almost went this weekend. I was trying to convince the wife to let me take the kids and go see it, and she's like, but I don't know that the kids are really gonna like it. I'm like, I don't care if they're gonna like it or not. I want to go see it. So
my 15-year-old is my daughter is 15, and she's my superhero like fanatic. So we go to like opening night with some people that I work with, some other teachers and stuff every time. So we saw it right away. What'd you think of it? Yep.
I loved it. I think it's in my top 5 of the MCU. Yeah. What'd you think?
It was good. Like I'm like the only person in the world that I think isn't just like totally won over with it. Like my 2 problems are this. Okay, and Morph is gonna have maybe something to say about one of them. Skrull shouldn't be good guys.
That's true.
They should be the bad guys every time.
Yeah.
And then my second one is, whereas I thought Wonder Woman was the total like this is badass woman, let's do a female superhero that's like awesome to watch. I thought Captain Marvel was too, except for the fight scene at the end where she finally unleashes and they start playing freaking No Doubts, I'm Just a Girl, to like hammer home, no, she's a girl. And
well, just the fact that they played No Doubt, I mean, come on.
I was just like, serious? Like, this song is what you hang your hat on? Like, it just pulled me out of that fight completely. And it was because, so like in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? All the music, like he'll hit his Walkman, right? And then he'll start here, or they'll put it through the speakers of the ship. So there's a reason why this music's playing, right?
Yeah.
They're in a ship that has all these like video games and stuff. You could have had her throw someone into a jukebox and have it start playing or something. But no, they just start fighting and this music starts playing like for us. It's not actually in the place they are.
Yeah.
Right. But it's different. Like it just, I don't know. It pulled me out of it. Like that's not the, first of all, it's No Doubts, I'm Just a Girl. Come on.
Well, yeah.
Just, it's not a great song. But second, it's like they're trying to like, so as a writer, you're supposed to show, not tell, right? It's like they went through this great, like, I'm building this character in the story, but we're just going to tell you right here, right? Like, it's a girl. She's a girl. Get it? Like, a girl fighting these guys, this girl. Like, they didn't need to do that. Like, you could see, like, oh, dang, she's badass. And then all of a sudden that came out, and it was like, oh, you want me to know that she's a girl. Okay.
Well, okay, and so on that same note, on that, and this is something that frustrates me at times with movies. In what I thought the Guardians of the Galaxy did really well with their music selection. So, Captain Marvel, correct me if I'm wrong, takes place in the 80s, correct?
Yep.
So even
No,
late
the 90s, wasn't it?
No, yeah, right. It is the 90s. Yeah,
so
it is.
so it is in the the mid
It
90s
is.
time. Okay, so then at least that fits. I was thinking it was in the 80s, which is also like which is why I was always okay with the music in Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of like what you said. It was stuff that he was listening to from when he was a kid. It made sense why that music was in the movie. But if so that's why, so I guess my argument is not there. But
so for me, and I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know what you know or don't know, Morph.
It doesn't matter. I never get spoiled at anything.
So she turns, like, she's with this group and then finds out they were manipulating her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's going against them.
Right.
To me, instead of no doubts, I'm just a girl, why not Alanis Morissette, I'm here to remind you? Like, it's a better song. It's a little more edgy and hardcore. It's kind of like the whole, like, I'm going to show you, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get back at you.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have been a better song. That's just my opinion.
And it wouldn't have been No Doubt.
Oh, no doubt.
I think they just picked, honestly, I had a feel like they just picked music.
Yeah.
You know, in Guardians of the Galaxy, like the last scene, they're playing Ain't No Mountain High Enough, which is a duet. Yep. And Diana Ross is singing when Gamora is on the screen. And, oh, shoot, I can't remember the guy's name.
Star-Lord.
What's that?
Star-Lord?
No, the singer. Marvin Gaye. When Marvin Gaye singing, then Star-Lord's on the screen. Yep. It's like they used the music to really set up the scene.
Right.
I guess it didn't bother me as much as it bothered you, but you made some valid points, and next time I see it, it's going to bother me now.
I'm sorry. Overall, though, the movie is great. It really is. Two things kind of pulled me out, man. You know, if you're going to use the scroll, they're like the best villains ever in maybe not the best, but they're serious villains in Marvel.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they can be anybody.
Yeah.
And to not have them, I don't know.
Well, I'm hoping
they're better at what Hydra does than Hydra.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this introduces them and then ends up allowing, almost kind of setting them up as, hey, yeah, these were these bad guys that really weren't that big of a deal, and then all of a sudden we get something like Secret Invasion from the comic books where, oh shit, they're all here and they're the superheroes.
Right.
Now what are we gonna do?
Or I also thought, like, well, if they're the good guys, then what about Super Scroll?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I asked Kip in the last episode if there was a Super Scroll, and he just looked at me like, what's a Super Scroll? I'm like, oh, you've got to look it up. Go, just look up a picture of Super Scroll. Google it, because it's awesome.
Right. Well, there can't be. Well, I guess there could be, but I mean, it's a Fantastic Four kind of villain.
Yeah, and that's what I'm. Well, I mean, now Disney owns them now, so that's
right.
It's all good now. They can do whatever they want.
Here's my last thing that I want to talk about, and then you guys can talk about whatever you want, or tell me good night, and I'll go on my merry way. I was listening to. I don't know if you guys ever listened to Movie Fights.
No.
Huh.
Okay, so
the podcast.
It's on YouTube. You can watch it. They just have people on, and then they talk about, like, the last question is like, hey, what was the scariest movie ever, or what's the best scene for this ever, or whatever. And they just did one recently. Who's the most powerful being in the MCU?
Ooh.
Well, I'm curious what you guys think.
Most powerful being in the MCU.
Yep.
So, well, I mean that's an interesting line to kind of go with because being in the MCU could just be something that's not necessarily a character but has been seen. Um, hmm. That's wow. I mean, I know first blush, most people are gonna go with Thanos just for the sheer fact of the Infinity Gauntlet and how powerful that thing is.
Yep.
But then I would also make the argument that the that you have things like, you have the Nova Corps, so you have Nova in here in some situation. We just haven't seen him yet, with that, and he's super powerful. Then I would also make the argument that we see the Watchers at one point, and them being a being of unknown origin or power coming from the comic books. I mean, you could really go that route too.
Saw Adam Warlock too.
Oh, that's true. He was in the post credit scene for
Guardians.
For one of the Guardians. Yeah, yeah, and he's super badass.
So they boiled it down to Thanos, Captain Marvel, and Thor were the three they were arguing about. Okay.
Okay.
Listening to their arguments, I sway one way. They gave it to Thanos.
Well, of those three, I would probably give it to Thanos too.
See, I don't know that I would.
When he loses his glove, he's not the most powerful being on his block.
That is true.
He still has the glove. I mean, but I would argue with the gauntlet, he fires off at Thor, and Thor just hurls an axe straight down into his chest like it ain't nothing.
Yeah.
And he can't stop it. And even he said, man, if you just hit me in the head.
Right. That's it. And that is true. It's just.
He also took the full force of a star.
Yeah.
And walked away. I don't know. Thor's pretty tough right now.
He did lose an eye, but that didn't slow him down.
He was about to mess up the Hulk in Ragnarok. Like, he was going to win that fight if they didn't zap his neck.
Yeah.
This is true.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, I mean...
And you can argue that Thanos walked away from the fight, but so did Thor, right? Thanos left him for dead, and Thor still got out. He floated in space for how long?
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Yeah, that is true. I mean, you have godlike... I didn't even think about that. That is definitely an argument that's worth making.
If you see the fight at Wakanda, when he enters the field, it's all like the lightning just...
Yep.
So,
that is true. You know what? I like that. I like that idea. I would still argue that there are others more powerful than Thor. We just haven't. But I would also go with with the three that they came out with there. Those are three characters that we have actually seen and are named as characters in the MCU. A lot of the ones that.
Captain Marvel, we haven't seen enough to see that she's. I mean, she fights the Kree, but that doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're going to put her in that category, then you have to, even without seeing the movie, you're not going off of what you've seen in the MCU. You're going off of what you know Captain Marvel from the comic books, because she is a massively powerful figure in the comic books.
Yep. So.
I kind of like that. I'm going to have to go check out that YouTube series.
Yeah, it gets you thinking.
Yep. They have some good questions. They come up with some good stuff. I like listening to them and hearing what their debate is. And sometimes I'm like, no, you guys are totally wrong. And sometimes sometimes I like, okay, yeah, no, I can see that. I believe that. I like it. So
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is cool.
As soon as you posed it, it was like, I almost treated it like there was actually a right answer,
right?
and I couldn't come up with it.
Yeah, I don't know that there is a right answer. I mean, because I think you could also argue Scarlet Witch is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Like, we made her in the MCU. I mean, she could just rip someone apart.
Well, and we don't know her level within the, that's the other thing. We don't know what her level is in the MCU, but
we know she could destroy an Infinity Stone.
Right. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah, that is true. And if
So,
we're going to go the same line of thinking that we went with Captain Marvel and taking what we know from the comic books, we know that Scarlet Witch can end mutants in just by thinking it, so change reality.
yep.
That is as powerful as the Reality Stone that Thanos has, so that's kind of a big deal.
Yep.
Kind of a little bit.
I mean, you could also argue something maybe for Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
We've also seen Dormammu.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
See, now at 2:00 in the morning, I'm gonna wake up thinking about this.
And he's gonna be like, "It's Captain America, and here's why."
Yeah.
Because he has a shield, man.
And he never gives up.
And he has boots. And he can't die. Yeah.
We all know the true thing is it's Rocket Raccoon, right? I
Hell
mean, like,
yeah.
we disagree on that.
Dude, he doesn't. So we went back and watched. Went back and watched Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and Volume 2 with Reese because he hadn't seen them yet. We're trying to make it through in order, and so we sat down and watched it, and I just started busting up laughing in the first movie where they're in the prison and he's like, okay, I need this and I need this and I need that guy's leg. And they go get it, and he hands it to him. He's like, I just wanted him to wake up and not have a leg. I don't
right.
like. And then,
like, what was he like? Was he like, what?
Yeah. And then in the second one, when he's like, and I need that guy's eye.
Well, no. it even goes into Infinity War where he's like, oh, I'm gonna get that arm.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, he's such a trash panda. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. It is awesome.
Yeah. He is probably one of my favorite characters in the MCU, and I'm excited to see what they do with him for Endgame. So
and he's the only Guardian that stayed alive.
True.
Unless you count Nebula, but
I don't really count her as a Guardian. She's more like an evil person.
Yep. Drax didn't consider her one either, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about the Endgame, man.
Yeah, well, before we wrap things up here, did you see the posters that were released? I think they were actually just released today for Endgame. They were I can't remember if I saw it on Entertainment Weekly or something, but it was basically headshots of Avengers and the Fallen. So it was black and white pictures of the people that disappeared. And the big news that came out of that was one of the people that was shown as the Fallen, we never saw actually go away, and that was Shuri from Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like, we never saw her disappear, but now it's basically official. She has been shown with all the others that did die that she disappeared, which is kind of a bummer because I was really like.
So what was Ant-Man on that poster?
He wasn't in there at all.
Oh, really?
I don't think
he's
his picture.
In there.
I don't. Is he one of the
lower left-hand corner?
Oh, maybe I just missed it. I was looking at it on my phone in a meeting at work today, so.
Company man.
Yeah, the important things. So is he on the Avengers side then? Is that what you're seeing there, Kip?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we all know he's alive. I mean, he shows up in the trailer, but.
Right, but that's just kind of why I was wondering. Well, I don't even see the poster. All I'm seeing is the older ones. Oh, here we go. Except it's not showing the poster. It's just telling me that she didn't survive.
Yeah, it's just a headshot of her, but it's just kind of a bummer because I really liked her character in Black Panther. Not that she won't come back. All of these people are gonna. My feeling is all of the Fallen are gonna come back, and we're gonna lose some Avengers in the process. That's what I think is gonna happen. Nothing behind that, but. So she's going to be back. She was too popular of a character for Black Panther. Black Panther 2 has already been slated. So, I mean, that's going to happen. It was just kind of a bummer. I was hoping she would have more of a role. I was kind of hoping to see a Shuri, Tony Stark, like, brain, like, geek fest go on. Like, who can invent the better thing.
What's interesting to me is Valkyrie's alive. That's more interesting to me than Shuri.
Yeah.
According to that, they said that Valkyrie's on the living side because she was on that ship that Thanos destroyed, which means a bunch of them went away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which still holds my theory to be true that the Hulk isn't really Bruce Banner and the Hulk it's Loki. That's my theory.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Just a theory. Nothing to prove. Just like he had illusioned it out or whatnot, and then got hit so hard that maybe he kind of went, "Oh, I am Bruce Banner" type thing, and maybe we'll see him come out and be Loki or a Skrull or something.
There you go. It's gonna be that would be. Oh man!
And that Hulk really went with Valkyrie with the rest of the Asgardians to save them.
Yeah. Ooh. That would be hilarious. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. I'd like to see the Skrull make an appearance there.
Right.
And it would be like the start of even if they don't show it during the movie itself, but it's like the end credit scene where you have Bruce Banner like shift back into his Skrull form and he's like talking about the others out there, and it starts this next phase, the next big movie.
Because where did Captain Marvel put the Skrulls?
Right.
Could have been Asgard.
Could be.
Just saying. This
is the kind of stuff that I love. We just make up shit as we go, but nobody really can tell us no. So hey, I like it.
I hope so. I think it'd be hilarious if it was Loki just kind of punch drunk.
Yeah.
I think that'd be amazing.
I mean,
it would be amazing.
He's been slammed around so many times. It wouldn't surprise me.
And he always comes back.
Yeah.
Have you seen the little mini trailer they did with the end game with Deadpool in it?
I didn't.
It's the scene where Thor is looking at Captain Marvel and he holds up his hand and the hammer comes flying in. Well, in this one, it hits Deadpool, and then you can hear him go, cussing and like Canada, like that. Like that's funny as hell right there. I hope they get him in a movie sometime.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is the MCU is so serious and he's so not serious.
Yeah.
That it'll be interesting how they and I have some friends that just saw Shazam and they were kind of the same way, like, oh my God, how's this guy gonna fit in with like all the dark I am Batman? And he's a kid. So.
Well, I hope it makes the DC movies better.
Yeah.
So did they have anything to say about the quality of the movie?
Good. What's that?
Did they have anything to say on the quality of the Shazam movie?
They liked it. They said it's definitely more family friendly and it's more there's a lot of like little kid jokes because they're kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, they liked it. And my one friend who's like hardcore, like sees all the movies, he's one of the guys I see all of them with, was like, he's like, I went into it thinking I'm gonna hate this. Like it's just gonna be too like over the top, like way more than Deadpool campy. And he's like, I liked it. So
Cool.
Good. I hope it's good. I mean, I grew up on the 80s Saturday or the 70s Saturday morning Shazam. And then I saw this trailer. It's like, it's nothing like that. But
because it's really bad.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Kid.
Yeah.
In Shazam body, which in some of the Justice League stuff is pretty funny. So
I hope it's good because DC needs to do something right. So
I liked Aquaman.
I did too.
I did like Aquaman, and I actually saw. I'll have to find that video. I had seen a video, and it was an analysis on why Aquaman was actually good compared to all the other DC movies. And Wonder Woman aside, because I really enjoyed Wonder Woman as well.
Yeah.
But the fact that they broke the story down on the way they told the story and the purpose for the hero versus the villain and all that stuff and how it all just it makes sense as opposed to the other movies. It's like, yeah, it really does, and that's what keeps you drawn into that movie. Is
there's kind of a reason for the villain.
Yeah.
I just had this conversation with a guy at work today because we were talking about Endgame and it's coming out, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, I think tickets go on sale the next couple of days. I'm gonna order and who's going?" And so we all get our tickets like a month early usually. But the reason Thanos is one of the best villains is because you believe he believes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he isn't doing this because he wants to rule a world. He isn't doing this because he's some megalomaniac, like, I need power. He's legit like, this will solve everything. I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thinks he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think he knows he's not a good guy, honestly.
Are you sure?
Yep.
But
But I think he knows it's the right thing to do still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how do I want to explain it? I feel like he knows like murdering half the universe isn't great, right? There's sadness that goes along with it. There's tragedy that goes along with it. But I also think he knows, like, he's thinking like, but if we don't, there's bigger tragedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so in his mind, like, he's doing the right thing, even though it's a horrific thing.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's like the ends justifies the means.
Right. And I think all along the way you see him conversing with people in a way that makes you think that, man, he gets it. Like, because like the whole thing when he's fighting Stark, where he's like, do you think anyone will remember you? Like, I respect you type thing. You know what I mean? Or when he throws Gamora in and he's sad about it. He's like, oh, this sucks. Like, I have to do it. But so I think he's a more human character. He's got more depth than just like the JLA movie where Steppenwolf's just trying to kill people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you look at it and go, oh, geez. Like, it's such a one-dimensional villain. Like, oh, great. Yeah. You're going to kill the world.
Right.
So, I mean, even some of the Marvel villains who are cool aren't as deep as him. The Red Skull is still just a Nazi trying to kill the world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, I'm right there with you. I think Thanos has been a great addition to this, and I think he's the perfect villain for what we're trying to get, or what Marvel's trying to tell, the story that they're trying to tell. I mean, I think they've done the right thing, and I'm excited to see what they do in Endgame, because what I've noticed is that bad guys don't tend to just good bad guys in the MCU don't tend to just die and disappear. They have a plan. They have a plan for these, and I I'm almost curious on some of them that they have killed off if they'll end up coming back after this, after Endgame, just with whatever, brings back the heroes. It's going to bring back bad guys as well. Bring back more than just the people that disappeared.
Right.
And because I feel like when villains end up dying in movies, you end up killing the franchise.
Yep.
You can't get rid of the rogues gallery and still have a hero. So,
well, my other thing is, who are they going to do after Thanos? Like, who is that big of a world threat that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy because that's like kind of the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost wondering if after this movie's over, we're all going to have this, like, buyer's remorse type thing. Like, oh,
right.
no, like, it's over.
Right.
Like, what are they going to do? Like, the end credit scene for this is really going to, like, they have to be really smart with what they do for it, because it is going to set up not just the next movie, but the whole direction that they're going to take from here. And
right.
I know they know that. I mean, these guys have been, I would argue they haven't made a misstep yet. They maybe not have, maybe didn't take as big of a step with some of the movies that they put out, but they haven't misstepped. They haven't fallen off any ladders yet, like the
Right.
DCU has. Or what is it? What's their acronym now? The DC.
I don't know.
I don't. The shit. That's what I call it.
It's
the
late.
Shit.
It's late and I'm tired, so
Yep.
I don't
know. Well, on
and
that
there's
note,
your cue.
Yeah, on that note, we have gone on long enough. I just looked at
Sorry.
the clock and saw that it is. We are at now hour and 20 minutes, so we should probably wrap this up here. Go check out Kickstarter. Link in the description, in the show notes. Go back the company store, the expansion for Flapjacks and Sasquatches. Let's get this thing funded. I want to see it funded really, really soon.
Me too.
I didn't ask because, that's like jinxing things, but I'm going to do it anyway. What happens when we fund this? Do you have stretch goals already in mind?
We have some that we've talked about. We aren't a huge stretch goal thing. We try to give you everything in the game right away.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are like, well, add in this card and this card and this card. We try to just give it to you, right?
Yeah.
We try not to hold back and do that. We have a couple ideas.
Could we see some of the cards that John says is overpowered?
Yes. there may be a lumberjack calendar out there somewhere. Like a lumberjack calendar card. So
yeah. I'm really liking this already. Okay, everybody, now you really got to go fund this thing, because I want to see some of the stuff that's going to come up. So, come on. Guys, if you've played any of their games, you know that they have more stuff in their heads that's just waiting to come out. So if we give them enough incentive by backing this thing early and getting them putting their some stretch goal ideas out there, there is definitely some stuff that's going to show up that they haven't, that they've got back there and they're just waiting. They'll add it in the next expansion, but come on, let's get them to put it in now.
No, this is the last expansion.
Yeah, whatever. I don't even believe you.
I'm serious, man. I don't know that we can cram any more into it. Like, we have cards that we'll probably bring to conventions and stuff, or put on as stretch goals here. But I don't think so. If we do another expansion, I mean, we did this one because we came up with a way of adding cards that don't go in the main deck, right?
Right.
Because adding too many cards just makes it then clustered, and it doesn't work the right way and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't foresee another expansion. Instead, we'll be trying to bring you other games,
which I'm okay with too. I mean, I own all of them, so I mean, The more the merrier. Bring it on. Bring it on, Bill. All right. Where else can they find your stuff? They can find you at Prolific Games on Twitter.
On everything. Yep. So prolificgames.net is our actual site. At Prolific Games on Twitter. Prolific Games on Facebook. Everything's Prolific Games. We couldn't believe that we could corner the market on that.
Yeah, no kidding. That's impressive.
Right?
So go follow all their stuff and go click on the link in the show notes and go back their awesome Kickstarter. Thank you, Bill, for coming on. We appreciate it. And one of these times you're gonna drag John on here with you.
Right. He's probably talking softball to somebody. If you follow him on Facebook, all it is softball.
Yeah. Softball and baby picks. I mean.
Yep. Oh yeah, Malcolm now. Yep.
I'll just trick him and tell him it's somebody from the softball league.
There you go.
It'll be us.
They want to Skype with you.
Yeah, exactly. Ignore the names that are calling you. We're gonna have to create a new name just that says the softball league, and that's gonna be who calls them. All right. So for the rest of you can go check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/geekvice. I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, again, whatever our name is.
You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow that man over there at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. And, of course, as always, you can reach us by Gmail at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks, everyone, for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next time.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.